පෞගිය දවස්වල දිගින් දිගටම මාව ඉලක්ක කරගෙන පදමක් නැති බොරු චෝදනා එල්ල කරා. මේක දිගින් දිගටම සිද්ධ වුණා. මේ දරාගෙන ඉන්න බැරි තැන මම අද CID එකට ගිහිල්ලා මේ ගැන පැමිණිල්ලක් කරා. අපිට තව දුරටත් සද්ද කරන්න නැතුව ඉන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා බස්නාහිර පළාතේ ආණ්ඩුකාරය විදිහට මගේ කීර්ති නාමයට මේ සිද්ධ වෙන කලල දරා ගන්න බැරි නිසා මේ පැමිණිල්ල මම කරා. දරුගෙන්
Death came in rucksacks worn by these men, striking churches and hotels within minutes of each other, some pictured on their mobile phones, possible evidence of a wider network, coordinating the attacks, turning the innocence of Easter Sunday into scenes of terror. 2 days later, Islamic State said it carried out the bombings, releasing this video of suspects pledging allegiance to its leader. Only one face is unmasked. Mohammed Hashim Mohammed Zahran, in his early 30s, a self-styled radical preacher and the suspected ringleader who targeted the Shangri-La Hotel with another bomber. The other 7 men and 1 woman involved are from different parts of Sri Lanka. They're largely well-educated, well-travelled and with wealthy families. The Muslim town of Katankudi. This is where Zahran was born into a poor family, the eldest of 5. Friends describe him as an arrogant but compelling orator with hardline views on Islam. Leaders of the Muslim community are damning, saying he was expelled from religious college for breaking rules.
Sometimes Mr. Zahran says the extremism ideas.
NTJ in 2012, using it to criticise others, even those of his own faith who didn't agree with him. Inside the mosque is a former friend who's now leader of the NTJ. He claims Zahran only revealed he was an IS supporter through online posts after fleeing the town in 2017 for getting into a fight.
When he was talking on Facebook, he was saying...
And what did you think when you first heard the news that Zahran, your old friend, was actually the supposed ringleader of these bombings? Speaking with us, Mohammed Tawfiq was arrested by police in a raid on the mosque. Officials have linked the MTJ and another group to the attacks. He denies the claim. Zahran, ranting over the internet, was on the radar of Indian intelligence for his radical views. Instead allowed to transform into a suicide bomber, resurfacing here at the Shangri-La Hotel to kill. A second man, Abdul Latif Jamil Mohammed, aged 36, studied engineering in the UK and did a postgraduate in Australia. He blew himself up at a guest house. Something went wrong with the detonation charge on his backpack bomb, forcing him to leave, change clothes and retreat to the outskirts of Colombo, then seen as he tried to visit a mosque said to be sympathetic with the NTJ. 4 hours later, Abdul Latif returned to the guest house.
Around 8 minutes later came the blast.
Investigators believe he was trying to fix the bomb when it went off, killing himself and 2 other guests. Reducing this 1-storey building to rubble, Abdul Latif had 2 passports and travelled widely, including at least 2 times to the UK, also trying to reach Syria. Next are 2 sons of a wealthy spice trader. 35-year-old Mohammed Ibrahim Inshaf Ahmed hit the Cinnamon Grand Hotel, and his brother Mohammed Ibrahim Ilham Mohammed, 32, struck the Shangri-La. A woman called Fatima was married to one of the brothers. She died in a bomb blast during a police raid on the family home in the Demetagoda suburb of Colombo. The younger son, Ilham Mohammed, ran a coffee-making business on this street in the capital, where the father's company logo can be seen. Other properties are at a small industrial estate a short drive away. This was the warehouse where the father kept a lot of his spices, and across the road is the copper factory that was run by one that were brothers. Oh. Well, he was a suicide bomber?
Yes. Army tell me he's suicide.
Oh, so your boss was a suicide bomber? Yes. It must be so shocking.
I am very emotional.
wife who lived at the family home. She's suspected of killing herself, her unborn child and her 2 children in a blast during a police raid after the main bombings. 3 officers died as well. At least one of the other bombers was also from Colombo. Alwadin Ahmed Moath, 22, is perhaps the youngest of the gang, to be from another well-off family. His driving licence addressed to this small plastics factory, which belonged to his father.
Like quiet person, not the radical person.
Inflict such horror on so many at this church. 2 more bombers have been named locally as Mohammed Mubarak Mohammed Assam, who hit the Kingsbury Hotel in Colombo, seen here looking jittery just before pulling the trigger. And Achi Mahamdu Mahamdu Hastu, who carried out the bloodiest of the bombings at St Sebastian's Church in the town of Negumbo. He's pictured patting a girl on the head as he strides towards his target. Hamid Nazar Mohammed Azar, from the same hometown as the group's ringleader. They were friends. He targeted a church in nearby Batticaloa. This footage tracks his final 7.5 hours. At the top of the screen, a bus carrying Mohammed Azar stops in. A rickshaw gives him a ride to Batticaloa, an hour's drive away. He leaves the vehicle and walks to the front gate of the mosque, clutching 2 bags. At 5:42 a.m, the gate of the Jami-us Salam Mosque is opened. Building. Before joining worshippers to pray, seen here on the right rolling up his tracksuit bottoms. Slipping away early. Praying alone between 2 plastic chairs. Speaking on the phone, walking slowly. Seemingly scoping the area around his target. It's now only minutes until the first suicide bomb goes off casually, stepping over a cordon, on his way to illustrate their coordination and training. Identical rucksacks, baseball caps to hide their faces, a change of clothes to conceal their tracks. Pictured on their mobile phones, possibly now underway, looking at the group and the wider network. A raid last week uncovered this bomb-making kit and an IS flag. A source told me Zahran may have trained scores more bombers. 2 of his brothers pictured here and their father blew themselves up after clashes with the security forces. More than 100 people have been arrested, including this man from Katankudi, found with the same kind of IS robe and scarf as the bombers. Others remain at large. No one here believes that Zahran was the mastermind of the Easter Sunday bombings. They say he must have had outside help. But there is one unescapable fact. This small town will forever be linked with one of the world's worst terrorist attacks, and suspicions remain that others could do the same.